ಮಾತೃದೇವೋ ಭವ, ಪಿತೃದೇವೋ ಭವ, ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ದೇವೋ ಭವ, ಅತಿಥಿ ದೇವೋ ಭವ. ಶರಣಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ವಸತಿ ಪದವಿ ಪೂರ್ವ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನ ಪ್ರಥಮ ವರ್ಷದ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ವತಿಯಿಂದ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಸುಸ್ವಾಗತ. ಪೂಜ್ಯ ದೊಡ್ಡಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರ ಕನಸಿನಂತೆ ಹಾಗೂ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಪೀಠಾಧಿಪತಿ ಶರಣಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ವಿದ್ಯಾವರ್ಧಕ ಸಂಘದ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪೂಜ್ಯ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶರಣಬಸಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದದ ಮೇರೆಗೆ, ಮಾತೋಶ್ರೀ ದಾಕ್ಷಾಯಣಿ ಅವ್ವಾಜಿಯವರ ಕೃಪಾಶೀರ್ವಾದದಿಂದ, ಚಿರಂಜೀವಿ ದೊಡ್ಡಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರ ವಿಶೇಷ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿಯಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಬಸವರಾಜ ಅಣ್ಣಾಜಿಯವರೇ, ಪ್ರಾಧ್ಯಾಪಕ ವರ್ಗದವರೇ ಹಾಗೂ ಪಾಲಕರೇ, ಇಂದು ಶರಣಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ವಸತಿ ಪದವಿ ಪೂರ್ವ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನ ಪಿಯುಸಿ ಪ್ರಥಮ ವರ್ಷದ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗಾಗಿ ವಿಶೇಷ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. 1993ರಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಈ ಕಾಲೇಜು ಬೆಳ್ಳಿ ಹಬ್ಬವನ್ನು ಆಚರಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಉತ್ತಮ ವೈದ್ಯರು, ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ಗಳು, ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳು, ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ತನ್ನದೇ ಆದ ಕೊಡುಗೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಈ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಸದಾ ಚಿರಋಣಿಯಾಗಿರಬೇಕು. ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರ ಚಿಂತನಾತ್ಮಕ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಈ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನ ಪ್ರಾಚಾರ್ಯರಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸರ್ NS ದೇವರಕಲ್ ಸರ್ಜಿಯವರ ಪರಿಶ್ರಮ ಹಾಗೂ ಗುರುಗಳ ಒಂದು ಒಕ್ಕಟ್ಟಿನ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಭವಿಷ್ಯವನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಎಂದು ನಾವು ನಿಭಾಯಿಸಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಪ್ರೀತಿಯ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ತಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ವಿಶ್ವಾಸವನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅಭಿಮಾನದ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ತನ್ನ ತಾಯಿ ತಂದೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸುಖ ಸಮಾಧಾನ ಕೊಡುವ ಉದ್ದೇಶವನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ಗುಣಾತ್ಮಕ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಪ್ರವೇಶ ಪಡೆದಿದ್ದು ಸಂತೋಷದ ಸಂಗತಿ. ಆದರೆ ಅನಿವಾರ್ಯ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದ ನಾವು ಇಂದು ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಮುಂಬರುವ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ತರಗತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡುವ ಅವಕಾಶ ದೊರೆಯಲಿ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆಶೆ ಇಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ಆ ಶರಣರಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ನಾನು ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ, ತಾಯಿ ತಂದೆಯಿಂದ ಪಡೆದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ, ಗುರುಗಳಿಂದ ಪಡೆದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಭವಿಷ್ಯದ ಕಡೆ ಕರೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಯಾವ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ಮತ್ತು ಜೀವನದ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಆಧಾರವಾಗಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಭವಿಷ್ಯವನ್ನ ಕಟ್ಟಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾರೆ, ಆ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಭವಿಷ್ಯ ತನ್ನಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ತಾನೇ ವರ್ತಮಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಿಷಯ ಎಂದರೆ, ಇಂದಿನ ಕಾಲಮಾನಕ್ಕೆ ತಕ್ಕಂತೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಬೇಕು, ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ, ಹೆಡ್ಫೋನ್ ಬೇಕು, ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್, ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್, ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಬೇಕು. ಈ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಗಳನ್ನು ನೀವು ಅಳವಡಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ದಿವಸಗಳವರೆಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಈ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಪಡೆತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ನೀವು ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಿ. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಪಾಲಕರು ಬಹಳ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಯುತವಾಗಿ ತನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರವೇಶಪಡಿಸಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಸಹಕಾರವನ್ನು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಂದು ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಿಷಯ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನ ಸದಾಕಾಲ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಯನ್ನು ಆಧಾರವಾಗಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ. ಒಳಿತನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲು ಕಲಿಯಿರಿ, ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲು ಕಲಿಯಿರಿ, ಕಷ್ಟ ಪಡುವುದನ್ನು ಕಲಿಯಿರಿ. ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬರನ್ನು ಬೆಳೆಸುವುದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಯಾವ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಕನಸನ್ನು ಕಂಡು ವಿದ್ಯೆಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆಯಲು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತಾನೆ, ಅಂಥವನ ಭವಿಷ್ಯ ಸದಾಕಾಲ ಬಹಳ ಉಜ್ವಲವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಇಂಥ ವೈದ್ಯಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು, ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ಗಳು, ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳು, ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದ ನಾಯಕರು, ಸೈನಿಕರ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಗೌರವ ಈ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ಸಲ್ಲುತ್ತದೆ. ಯಾವ ಮಗು ಚಿಕ್ಕವನಾಗಿ ಬಂದಿರತಕ್ಕಂತ ಕ್ಯಾಂಪಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಮಟ್ಟದ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳಾಗಿ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಏನು ಕಲಿತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ, ಕೊಡುವುದನ್ನು ಕಲಿಸಿ ದಾಸೋಹಿಯ ನಾವು ಏನನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಅದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಅಪೇಕ್ಷೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲಾದೆ ನಾವು ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಹೊಳ್ಳಿ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಮತ್ತು ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ, ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಕೆ, ತನ್ನ ಮನೆತನಕ್ಕೆ, ತನ್ನ ಬಂಧು ಬಳಗ ಸದಸ್ಯರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡಲು ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಈ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಇವತ್ತು ಈ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಕಲಿತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ನಮ್ಮಿಂದ ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ ಏನನ್ನ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಿಚಾರ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಕಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪೂಜ್ಯ ದೊಡ್ಡಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರ ಕನಸಿನ ಲೋಕವನ್ನು ನನಸಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೀರ್ತಿ ಪೂಜ್ಯ ದೊಡ್ಡಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರ ಮಗುವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಇಂದಿನ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಪೀಠಾಧಿಪತಿ ಪೂಜ್ಯರು ವಿದ್ಯಾ ಭಂಡಾರಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶರಣಬಸಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರ ವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಕೋನದಿಂದ ಈ ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಬೆಳೆಯಲೇ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಯಿತು. 1993ರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೇ ಮಾತ್ರ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು, ಇಂದು ಆ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ನಾಗಾಲೋಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ನಾವು ಕೂಡಿ ಕಲಿಬೇಕು, ಕೂಡಿ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಪಡಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಕೇವಲ ಅಂಕಗಳು ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ಗಳು ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ರ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗಳು ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ. ವಿದ್ಯೆ ಕಷ್ಟದ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಕೈ ಹಿಡಿತದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ವಿದ್ವಾನ್ ಪೂಜ್ಯಂತೆ ಸರ್ವತ್ರ, ವಿದ್ವಾನ್ ಪೂಜ್ಯಂತೆ ಸರ್ವತ್ರ. ಯಾವ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗೆ ಸದ್ವಿದ್ಯೆ ದೊರೆಯುತ್ತದೆ, ಯಾವ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನ ತನ್ನ ಅಸ್ತ್ರವನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ತನ್ನ ಜೀವನದ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸಮಾಜವನ್ನ ಕಟ್ಟಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಆ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಜೀವನ ಇದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಟೀನೇಜ್ 16 ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ SSLC ಪಾಸ್ ಆದ್ರಿ, 100ಕ್ಕೆ 100 ಅಂಕಗಳನ್ನು ಪಡೆದು ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ಗಳನ್ನು ನೀವು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆಸೆ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸಗಳನ್ನು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕನಸಿನ ಲೋಕಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಸದಾ ನೀರೇರುವ ಕಾರ್ಯ ನಿಷ್ಠೆಯಿಂದ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಕೇವಲ ಒಂದೇ ದಿವಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಮಗು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿಯಿಂದ ಪಡೆದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ, ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪಡೆದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಗುರುಗಳ ಜ್ಞಾನ, ಅದು ಭವಿಷ್ಯವನ್ನ ಕಟ್ಟಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇದೆ. ಅದು ಭವಿಷ್ಯ ವರ್ತಮಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿವಸ. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಕೆಲವೇ ಮಾತುಗಳು ಇವತ್ತು ವಿಶೇಷ ಸ್ವಾಗತ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಲು ಕಾರಣ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನೀವು ಕಂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕನಸು, ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ डू इट. अब्दुल कलाम जी बहुत सुंदर ढंग से कहा, जो सपने देखते हैं उनको नींद नहीं आती है, जो सपने देखते हैं उनको नींद नहीं आती है. ऐसे सपने देखो और उन सपनों को सच में परिवर्तित करो. आपका भी उसमें 25% क्या योगदान है और अपने माता पिता का 25% योगदान है. उसमें हमारा 25% कंट्रीब्यूशन है, 75% हो गया. 25% सोसाइटी, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया. इसलिए आपसे एक निवेदन है, आप घर बैठे आज कक्षाएं सुन रहे हैं तो आसपास के निशब्द वातावरण में बैठिए और जितना हो सकता है सुनिए, हमारे साथ इंटरेक्ट कीजिए. कोई सुधार की प्रवृत्ति अगर मनुष्य में आती है तो आपस में सब मिलकर के हाँ एक शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में बहुत ही मेहनत करने की आवश्यकता है. इसलिए इस संस्था का जो मूल उद्देश्य है श्रममेव जयते, यहाँ वर्क कल्चर को अप्पा जी ने क्या बढ़ाया है और प्रिंसिपल सर ने यहाँ पर वर्क जो करने की जो आदत डालता है वो वर्क केवल दिखाने के लिए नहीं बल्कि आत्म शांति के लिए, तन्न तृप्तिಗಾಗಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಬೆಳಿಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಮಗುವಾಗಿ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೆದರೆ ಆ ಮನೆತನ ಸುಧಾರಣೆ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಆ ಮನೆತನದಿಂದ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಮನೆ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳಾಗಬಹುದು. ಬರ್ತಾ ಬರ್ತಾ ಊರು, ಆನಂತರ ತಾಲೂಕ, ಜಿಲ್ಲಾ, ಸ್ಟೇಟು ಮತ್ತೆ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ. ಯಾವತ್ತು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರವಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಶಬ್ದ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸರಳವಾದಲ್ಲ. ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರವನ್ನ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಲಕರ ಕೊಡುಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ, ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳ ಪರಿಶ್ರಮ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ, ಗುರುಗಳ ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡಿದಾಗ ಒಂದು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರವನ್ನು ಬಲಶಾಲಿಯಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಲು ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಇಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಇವತ್ತ ನಿಮಗೆ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸಿ ಮುಂದಿನ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಸೌಲಭ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಕುರಿತು ಕಾಲೇಜಿನ ಇನ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶ್ರೀಶೈಲ್ ಹೊಗಾಡೆ ಅವರು ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಉದ್ದೇಶಿಸಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
Good morning, students. Myself, Dr. Srishil Hogade, and I'm here to 2 years. In fact, today's first class is mathematics, but before me, 5 to 7 minutes, head of Hindi department, Dr. Chandrakant Patil sir has spoke in detail about what the culture our institution carry over. I'm here just to give you few instructions, rather I would say, while attending online classes which you need to follow. So let me use this platform as an opportunity to welcome you all for SBR family. You all have passed with brilliant 10th standard result. I must congratulate you all for your brilliant 10th standard result. At the same time, you should not get carried over that result whatever you have got in 10th standard or SSLC. You are going to enter in a very important phase of your life. Rather than saying education, I would say life. Remember, 11th standard and 12th standard in the education system that we have got is very important from the point of further career. These are the 2 years in our education system which decides most of the things what we want to achieve in the future. And almost all of you have come with very much, very high expectations from our institution, from all of our teachers. We will try our level best to stand up to your expectation and deliver the best whatever possible from our side. In these 2 years, there are many things which are going to happen. You all being adolescents, there are going to be the distractions. Keeping yourself away from all these distractions and having a decided goal. If you walk with us for these 2 years, I can assure you that your future is going to be bright. And above all, in this divine campus, always there are blessings from Lord Sharan Bachmeshwara, which will guide us, which will help us in all difficult time. Apart from this, we have our captain, Sri N.S. Devarkal sir, who has been always a guiding force, a instructor, a guide, principal, everything. And with the blessings of Puja Appaji, whatever the goals you have come with, we will try to fulfill, we will try to stand up to your expectation. As far as while attending the online classes are concerned, first and important thing, almost all of you, whether you are attending the classes on mobile, laptop, desktop, you try to have earphones because the noise level will get reduced and clarity in the sound you will have more if you use earphones. And I needless to give this instruction, I believe, because most of you, this generation, are very much expert in electronic media. About that, I need not to tell you much. Next, an important thing, while attending every class, each and every class, you should have a notebook and pen. Only don't keep on listening the lecture. Rather, whatever things, important things are there, like as we generally do while attending the classes, being in the classroom, like taking the running notes. Same thing even you can follow while attending the online classes. So writing will make you, to understand the concepts. And children, one more important thing which you need to remember, the pattern of study that you had for SSLC, Most of you, I strongly believe, most of you, by hurting the answers, most of us we manage up to 10th standard. But same is not going to work out in the PUC. Same is not going to work out in 11th and 12th standard. Because at the end of this course, you all are aware that to get the admission in the desired professional course, you will have to appear the competitive examinations. And for appearing competitive examinations, only by having the answers is not going to work out at all. Rather, understanding each and every concept is very important. And for that, of course, our teacher will try their level best to deliver the conceptual content. But if you feel that particular things are not understood or not delivered properly, at any time you can feel free to give your feedbacks as well as suggestions. Now, as long as the online classes are going on, within short a day or two, we will be making WhatsApp groups via which you can post your doubts, you can ask your doubts, whatever you come across while attending online classes. And for that, as I mentioned, you need to have a notebook and pen over where you can just keep a note of whatever the doubts you have come across while attending the online classes. And once the class gets stopped, you can post those doubts in every group. You will be having two expert teachers to attend your doubts, to answer your doubts. So this is how we will go, and we hope that the online classes won't continue too long. We may expect somewhere mid of September or 1st of October permissions from government, so that you all can come to the campus and attend the classes. So even one of the students, when I was attending the Patil Sir's class, there was a post that what about books? As far as books are concerned, right now you all can have a set of NCERT book. Whereas other, because only NCERT is not going to do everything. Because some of the concepts you may not understand what are given in the NCERT. For that, we need to have reference book. List of reference book. As soon as the WhatsApp groups are formed, we will post list of books in all subjects with at least 5 authors, different books. You can select any one out of that. And even about notes, even our teachers have prepared the notes, whatever the thing, topic is going on of the respective topics from all department. They'll keep on posting the notes also. You can make use of that for your study. Whereas about pattern of exam, about NEET coaching that we follow in these 2 years, remember that in a week, whatever concept we teach, on those concepts or on those content, every week we conduct weekly tests, objective type of the test. We call it as a NEET weekly test or JEE weekly test. Initially, probably first 15 days we will not have. Once you get adjusted with us, once your frequency gets adjusted, we can have even those weekly tests right from starting from beginning. And parallelly, even we will go with competitive examination coaching after 15 days parallelly, because initially 15 days, like some introductory part, basic things we will teach 1 week at least, and after that we can start with our syllabus, so that every week we can have weekly tests. Whereas once you come to the campus, you will have theory monthly test also. Every month we will give the detailed year schedule about examinations. Even theory exam you will have every month. Most of you always, even when I come across, when I meet the parents, one question I always get from every parent, and even others also talk about our reshuffling system. Dear students, with all testing, we follow this reshuffling. In the duration of the 3 months, whatever tests and exams are being conducted, whatever tests and exams are being conducted, performance of all the test and exam we take into consideration to shuffle the classes. So initially we begin your classes with your 10th standard performance. We'll put in the different sections, and once the first monthly test gets over, based on the performance up to the first monthly test, we will shuffle the classes, and that will continue up for the 3 months. After 3 months again, whatever the exams fall in that duration, we'll shuffle the classes. I hope these are the few things which I wanted to just tell you. And once again, finally, let me welcome you all to the SBR family. With a lot of expectation you have come, and I can assure from this platform, whatever expectations you have got, we'll try to fulfill. You have come, and I can assure from this platform, whatever expectations you have got, we'll try to fulfill. And for anything, it could be suggestion, it could be instructions, it could be feedback. You all are always welcome. You can feel free to give me the feedbacks, whatever about it. Could be about system, it could be about teaching, it could be for anything which becomes a hindrance in the learning process of child. But above all, one thing all of us should remember, that we too do not have magic stick. Unless and until three important elements in the process of learning are active, like teacher, at nucleus main its student and parent. Three of us together, if we work, I don't think there is going to be any difficulty in the process of learning. But mainly in that, teacher and student have to be equally good. Having alone good teacher is not going to work out at all. I need a good student also. Having a only good student is not going to work out. Need a good teacher also. When these two elements are equally good, equally interested, rather, I would say, with a good attitude to learn, and supporting role by the parents in the form of feedback, in the form of supervision at home, I don't think there is going to be any difficulty to achieve the whatever the goal we have decided. So we are always there to help the child, to help to guide the child, which will in turn will take the child to the desired goal, whatever decided. So thank you, all of you. So the next class will continue with mathematics. Timetable already has sent. Mathematics 8 to 9 every day. Next is biology at 9 o'clock, and evening session or afternoon session you call 4 to 5 we have got physics, 5 to 6 we have got chemistry. So these classes will continue. Okay, best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the valuable words for our students. Good morning, students. Myself, Malik Arjun, lecturer in mathematics, SBRPU College, Kalburgi. So today is the first class of mathematics. So in today's class, just we'll discuss what are the chapters we'll be studying in PUC first year and what is the weightage from each chapter, as well as the question paper pattern of your PUC first year. Anyhow, the CBSE board has deleted some of the portion, and even some chapters also they are deleted, right? But the state government has not released a new blueprint. So we'll discuss the blueprint as like it was last year blueprint. We'll discuss from each chapter how many marks, what is the weightage from each chapter, as well as what is the question per pattern of your PUC first year, right? So in PUC first year, totally we have 16 chapters, in which our first chapter is all set. So little bit introduction part also will discuss in this class of the first chapter set. So in chapter set, total weightage is what 8 marks is there. First chapter, that is sets, which includes 8 marks, in which 1 marks question 1 is there, 2 marks question 2, 3 marks question 1. So totally 8 marks on the first chapter. So this chapter is a new chapter for you, and I feel that among 16 chapters, this is the easiest chapter for in your PUC first year, because even this chapter was there in old syllabus of your 10th standard, but now in the CBSE, but this chapter is not there. But I feel that among 16 chapter, this is the easiest chapter, and which gives a basic foundation for PUC second year chapter A1. And so that is a very important chapter in the first year. And second chapter is relations and function. Relations and functions. So total weightage from this chapter is 11 marks, in which 1 marks question 1, 2 marks question 1, 3 marks question 1, and 5 marks question 1. Total of 11 marks from the chapter, second chapter, relations and function. So this chapter is a new chapter for you, right? So relations and function, in which this also plays a very important role to understand the concept of second year. Again, even second year also will be studying about this chapter, relations and function. Little bit introduction part of relation function, and higher level examples will be studying in PUC second year. So these two chapters are very important for us to study. Again, one more branch in mathematics, that is called calculus. So these chapters will play a very important role to understand the new branch, that is one of the branch in mathematics, that is calculus. In calculus, in second year, we will be studying differentiation and integration. To understand that concept, these two chapters are very important for us, set and relations and function. And third chapter is trigonometry functions, where it carries 19 marks, in which 1 question 1, 2 marks question 2, question 1, and 5 marks question 1, and 6 marks question 1 from the third chapter, trigonometry function. Already in 10th standard you studied about, that is trigonometry. So in 10th standard you studied about trigonometric identities, standard angles, allied angle, compound angle. Same you'll be studying, but little bit higher level examples. And trigonometry means what? You have to make perfect in formulas. All those trigonometry formulas you have to make perfect. So in these formulas we'll be using in many different chapters, even differentiation, integration, and in those chapters we'll be using the trigonometric identities. That is the third chapter. And fourth chapter is principle of mathematical induction. It carries 5 marks, where 5 marks question 1 is asking. So from the chapter principle of mathematical induction, 5 marks is there. So one question of 5 marks will be there. So this also is a new chapter for you, right? So induction, with the help of induction, you are proving some theorems. So already some theorems are proved. So with the help of mathematical induction, we are proving those theorems are proved. For example, sum of n natural numbers is what? N into n plus 1 by 2. So that we are proving with the help of our principle of mathematical induction. Again, this concept again you are not studying in second year. So just it's in a first year syllabus itself. Next, fifth chapter is complex numbers and quadratic equation. Complex number and quadratic equation. Total weightage from this chapter is 9 marks, where 1 marks question 1, 2 marks question 1, and 3 marks question 2. So total weightage from the chapter complex number and quadratic equations are 9 marks there. So already you studied in 10th standard, that is quadratic equation. An equation of the form ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. How to solve a quadratic equation? And the roots are what? Complex. So the root, because the chapter is on complex number. So we are discussing the equation whose roots are complex number. Whose roots are, that is delta discriminant b square minus 4 is less than that. Those kind of quadratic equation you are discussing, and even this also new for that is what is complex number. So what is complex number and some examples we will discuss in this chapter, complex number and quadratic equation. So this was about the 5th chapter, and 6th chapter is linear inequality. 6th chapter is linear inequalities. So total weightage from this chapter is 7 marks, in which 2 marks question 1 and 5 marks question 1. So this also is a new chapter for you, linear inequality. You are aware about what is linear equation. An equation whose highest degree of the variable is equal to what? 1. That is to be linear equation. But this chapter is related to linear inequalities. So what are those inequalities? The symbol that is less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than equal to also to be inequality. Suppose if I write x plus 1 equal to 0, it is a linear equation. But linear inequality is not a linear equation involving this inequality symbol. That is, if I write x plus 1 is not less than or equal to 0. So how to solve this inequality? We say linear inequality of one variable, and you can take linear inequality of two variables also. So how to solve the linear inequation or linear inequalities of one variable and two variable, that we are studying in linear inequality. Quadratic equation, no, that is a variable whose highest degree of the variable is 2 is a quadratic equation, whose highest degree of the variable is 1 is what? Linear equation. Right? So these kind of linear inequalities we are solving in the chapter linear inequality. This was about the 6th chapter. And 7th chapter is permutations and combination. Permutations and combination. So total weightage from this chapter is 9 marks, where 1 marks question 1 is there, 3 marks question 1 and 5 marks question 1. So total of 9 marks from the chapter permutations and combination. Again, this chapter is also new for you, right? In the old syllabus 10th and this chapter was there, but in CBSE this chapter is not there, permutations and combination, right? So this is also one of the new chapter for you. So it is related to arrangement of an object, in how many ways you can arrange the objects, and combinations or selection of an object, in how many ways you can select the people, right? In how many ways you can arrange the book. So related to that, examples will be discussed in the chapter permutations and combination, that is arrangements of objects and selection of the objects in the chapter permutations and combination. And 8th chapter is binomial theorem. 8th chapter is binomial theorem. So total weightage from this chapter is 8 marks, in which 3 marks question 1 and 5 marks question 1. So this chapter is also new for you, that is binomial theorem. So as the name itself indicates, binomial is a two-term expansion. So theorem which is related to two terms. So you know already a plus b power 1, right? So a plus b power 1 is what? A plus b, and a plus b whole square, you know, that is a square plus b square plus 2ab, and even a plus b power 3, you know, that is a cube plus b cube plus 3ab into a plus b. Suppose if I want to find what is a plus b power 10, right? And what is a plus b power 20? So that can be expanded with the of this theorem called binomial theorem. So about this, what is this theorem says, right? What the statement says, what is the expansion, how to expand this a plus b power n, where n is any natural number. About this we'll be discussing in binomial theorem, so which is carries of 8 marks, in which 3 marks question 1 and 1 5 marks question will be there. So next chapter is ninth chapter, which is sequence and series. Sequence and series. Total weightage from this chapter is 11 marks, in which 1 marks question 1 and 3 marks question 2 and 4 marks question 1 is asking. Total of 11 marks from the chapter sequence and series. So this chapter already you are very familiar sequence in 10th and you studied that is arithmetic progression. You're also same thing in studying what is arithmetic progression, what is the nth term of an AP, what is arithmetic mean, plus little bit higher level example we'll be discussing, and one more progression also you're studying here, that is geometric progression. In 10th standard you study only AP, that is arithmetic progression studied. But in first year, that is in sequence series chapter, we will be discussing what is arithmetic progression and what is geometric progression and its corresponding nth term. And series, we know that is some of the sequence is called series. Some special series are there. So what are the special series? What is the nth term? What is the sum of the nth term of the special series? We will be discussing in the chapter sequence and series. 10th chapter is straight lines. Total weightage from this chapter is 10 marks, in which 1 marks question 1, 2 marks question 2 and 5 marks question 1. So total of 10 marks from the chapter straight line. So already in 10th standard you studied coordinate geometry, right? So in coordinate geometry what you studied, the distance between 2 points, how to find distance between 2 points, and section formula, area of triangle, midpoint formula. Same thing you will be studying, but into consideration, that is how to find distance formula, section formula, area of triangle, midpoint formula, right? And in straight line studying what is the property of a straight line, how we can give the equation of a straight line. About that we'll be studying straight line. It's a continuation of your 10th standard coordinate geometry. To study the straight line, we should have that knowledge of coordinate geometry, right? So a little bit higher level example we'll be discussing in the chapter straight line. 11th chapter, which is conic section. Conic sections, where total weightage from this chapter is 9 marks, in which 3 marks question 1 and 6 marks question 1. So this is also a new chapter for you, conic section. Again, these two chapters, again this also this binomial theorem sequence series, straight line and conic section, again it is not continued in second year, only we are studying in first year itself. So conic section also is one of the new chapter for you, which carries 9 marks, 3 marks question 1 and 6 marks question 1. 12th chapter is introduction to 3D geometry. Introduction to 3D geometry, which is carries 7 marks, in which 2 marks question 1 and 5 marks question 1. So just it's an introduction part of 3-dimensional geometry. You know 2-dimensional geometry, that is two mutually perpendicular lines intersect each other, constitute 2-dimensional plane, that is x-axis and y-axis. If I draw one more line which is perpendicular both x, y and z, that which constitute an 3-dimensional plane. About that we'll be studying. Just it's an introduction part, how we represent a point in 3-dimensional plane. So we represent a point in 2-dimensional plane in the form of x comma y. So we represent the point in the 3-dimensional plane, that is x comma y comma z. So about that we'll be studying in the introduction to three-dimensional geometry. Again, its continuation we'll be studying in even in PUC second year itself. That is, we are studying the property of a line which is present in three-dimensional plane. So here also how to find distance between 2 points. That point is present in three-dimensional plane. How to find the ratio that point R is dividing PQ in particular ratio, or how to find the point R which divides PQ in some ratio M is 10. Same thing you're studying in three-dimensional plane. And 13th chapter, which is limits and derivative. Limits and derivatives. Total weightage from this chapter is 15 marks, in which 1 marks question 1, 2 marks question 1, 3 marks question 1, 5 marks question 1, and 6 marks question 1. So among those 16 chapters, this is a very important chapter for us, that is limits and derivative. So if we understood in first year itself what we mean by exactly limit, what is derivative, then it becomes very easy for us in second year, because we have a chapter called that is differentiation and integration. It depends upon the definition of limits and derivatives. So this is also one of the important chapter in first year. That is, 3 chapters are very important for us: set, relation function, and limits and derivative, which will help us to understand the concept of the second year chapters. 14th chapter, is mathematical reasoning. Mathematical reasoning. Total weightage from this chapter is 6 marks, where 1 marks question is 1, 2 marks question 1, and 3 marks question 1. So this is also a new chapter for you. That is, we are proving some statements, some mathematical statements are there. We are telling those mathematical statements whether they are a true statement or false statement. About that we are discussing in mathematical reasoning. Again, it is not continued in second year, just it's in the first year chapter. That is, mathematical reasoning carries 6 marks, 1 marks question 1, 2 marks question 1, and 3 marks question 1. 15th chapter is statistics, which carries 7 marks, in which 2 marks question 1 and 5 marks question 1. So this is also a very familiar chapter for you. In 10th standard you studied, that is how to calculate mean deviation about mean and mean deviation about median. So same thing we'll discuss in chapter statistics, little bit higher level example. So which carries 7 marks, 2 marks question 1 and 5 marks question 1. Last chapter, that is probability. Total weightage from this chapter is 9 marks, in which 1 marks question 1, 2 marks question 1, and 3 marks question 2. So total of 9 marks from this chapter, probability. Again, this also is a familiar chapter for you. 10th standard studied what is probability, how to find the probability of an event, different types of event. Same thing in studying, but little bit higher level example. Again, this chapter again it is continuing in second year. Just introduction part in first year. Again, little bit higher level example we will be discussing in second year. So these are the 16 chapters in your PUC first year, and some of the chapters already deleted by CBSE board. Those chapters are principle of mathematical induction and binomial theorem. So those chapters are already deleted, but we'll see how many chapters will be discussing according to the Karnataka board. And let us discuss the question paper pattern of your PUC first year. So totally the question paper consists of 150 marks. This was about the chapters of PUC first year. Now let us discuss what is the question paper pattern of your PUC first year. So total question paper consisting of 150 marks, in which you have to answer. You have to answer for 100 marks, right? All including all extras and all. So if the question paper consisting of 150 marks, you have to answer for 100 marks in mathematics. And the question paper consisting of 5 parts: part A, part B, part C, part D, and part E. In part A, it is a 1 marks question, right? So 1 into 10 is equal to 10 marks, where all the 10 questions you have to attend. There is no choice in the part A. All 10 questions. You have to attend all 10 questions. So part A consisting of 1 marks, you have to answer all 10 questions. There is no choice in part A. In part B, it is a 2 marks question, where you have to answer 10. 2 tens are 20 marks. So any 10 questions you have to answer. Any 10 questions you have to answer. But how many they will give for you? 14 questions. Out of 14 questions, any 10 questions you have to answer, where each question carries out 2 marks. 2 into 10 is equal to 20 marks in part A, in 10 marks in part A in 10 marks, part B 20 marks. Part C, which is a 3 marks question. So 3 into 10 is on 30 marks. So in part C, we have 30 marks. Again, same in part C also you have to answer any 10 questions. Any 10 questions you have to answer. Again, it consisting of 14 questions. In part C, we have 14 questions. In that 14 questions, you have to answer any 10 questions, where each question carries a 3 marks. 3 into 10 is equal to 30. So total weightage in part C is about 30 marks. Part D, which is a 5 marks question, right? Which is a 5 marks question. So 5 into 6 is on 30 marks, where you have to answer any 6 questions. So each question carries out 5 marks. Any 6 questions. But how many questions there is for us? 10 questions in part D, right? So each question carries out 5 marks. You have to answer any 6 questions. So 5 6 are 30 marks. So total how many questions there is for us? 10 questions. Among 10 questions, you have to answer any 6 questions. So 5 6 are 30 marks in part D. Last, in part E, which is a 10 marks question. Is a 10 marks question. Only one question you have to answer. So 1 into 10 is or 10 marks, where any one question you have to answer. But how many questions will be for you? 2 questions, right? So in part A, it's a 10 marks question. You have to answer any one question out of 2 questions, and it will be of division. That is, you are in 6 plus 4. So till part D, it is a 48 questions there. So part A, it will be 49A, which is of 6 marks, and B is of 4 marks, and 50A is of 6 marks. B is of 4 marks. You have to answer any one full question. You cannot go for 49A and 50B, right? So any one, either 49AB you have to go or 50AB you have to go, which carries 10 marks. In A is of 6 marks, B part is of 4 marks. So in part E, that is 10 marks question, any one full question you have to go. You cannot go for 49B and 50A. total, what in AAB ought to go or 50 AB ought to go. So this is the question paper pattern of your we'll see first year. So now let us discuss about the introduction part of first chapter, that is set. So before that, we'll discuss the number system. What are the number system? That is natural number, whole number. So what is the notation for that natural number, whole number? We'll discuss those that is number system. So number system, first is what you are very aware, that is natural number. What is the notation for natural number? And counting numbers also to be natural number denoted by capital N. Right. So first is what number system, that is natural number denoted by numbers are naturally occurring number 1, 2, 3, 4, which is an infinite set. Right, so counting numbers are said to be a natural number, which is an infinite set it is. Second is our whole number. Notation for whole number is what? W. So natural number including 0. Natural number including 0 are called whole numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right up to so on, and even it is also an infinite set. Next is what your integer. What is the notation for integer? Z, or we can write as what? I also. So integer is what? Which includes both positive number as well as negative number, including 0. So notation for integer is what? Either Z or capital I. That is including 0, both positive numbers as well as negative numbers. Plus 3 or minus 3, plus 4 or minus 4, plus 5 or minus 5, up to so on, which is an infinite set. Again, in this integer, you can divide positive integer as well as negative integer, denoted by z plus. Z plus is what? Your positive integer. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to so on. So positive integer in other sense, it is nothing but your natural number only. So natural number or positive integers, so z plus. And what is z minus? Negative integer, that is z minus is what? Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, up to so on. Right? It is also an infinite set. Again, you can see 0 is present in integer set, but 0 is not present in positive integer nor in negative integer. So that indicates 0 is not neither positive nor negative. Nothing, it is a neutral. We are not taking that 0 in the positive integer and or else even in the negative integer. So 0 is neither positive nor negative, just it's a neutral number. Next is what? Your rational numbers. Numbers in the form of P by Q. So notation for rational number is what? Q. Right? So numbers in the form of P by Q, where P and Q belongs to what? Integer, and Q is not equal to 0. So numbers of the form P by Q. What type of P and Q are? They are the integer numbers, and Q is not equal to 0. So if I write 1 by 2 is a rational number. 3 by 4 is also a rational number, right? So numbers in the form of P by Q, and even if I write minus 3 by 4 is also a rational number, and even if I write 2, this also is rational number, because the second is what? 2 by 1. Numbers in the form of P by Q, where both P and Q belongs to what? Integer, right? So 2 belongs to integer, 1 also belongs to integer, so 2 is also a rational number, I can tell. But why Q is not equal to 0? What happens if I take Q as 0? So if I take Q as 0, right? So P is what? 1 by 0. So what will be the value of 1 by 0? It is an, we cannot divide any number by 0. It is an infinity. So this notation is nothing but what? A very large quantity. So this symbol indicates a very large quantity, or as undefined. We cannot tell what is the output for that number when I divide 1 by 0. So you cannot divide that any number by 0. So any number by 0 is what? Infinity. So Q should not be equal to 0. Or else if you take 1 by 0.1, right? What is 1 by 0.1? 0.1 you can write 1 by 10, 10 goes to numerator, 1 by 0.1 is what? 10. And 1 by 0.01, right? 1 by 0.01 again, this is what? 1 by 100, and it goes to numerator, it is 100. 1 by 1 by 0.0 is what? 100. Again, if I take 1 by 0.01, it is 1000, right? Again, 1 by 0.001, it is 10,000, right? So you can see as the denominator make very small, right? As you make denominator very small, I'm getting larger value. So almost if I make denominator as 0, right? Almost if I make denominator 0, I'm getting a very large quantity that we cannot tell. That is said to be infinite. We cannot tell what is the particular value you get when you make denominator very small number that is near to 0. So 1 by 0 I got is what? Undefined is an infinity. So this is what about the rational numbers. Numbers in the form of p by q, where p and q belongs to of integer and q is not equal to 0. Next is what? Irrational number. So numbers which are not rational, right? Numbers which are not rational are called irrational numbers, or numbers which are not in the form of p by q. We cannot express those numbers in the form of p by q. And so that irrational number is denoted by q dash. I can tell q is rational. So numbers which are not rational, that is irrational, q dash. So for example, irrational is what? Root 2 I can tell, root 3 I can tell, or as pi I can tell, or as root 5. Root 5, right? So these are the examples for an irrational numbers, or else we can tell non-recurring, non-terminating numbers. Non-recurring, non-terminating numbers are said to be an irrational number. So root 2 cannot express root in the form of p by q. Root 3 also cannot express in the form of p by q. Pi also cannot express in the form of p by q, because its pi value 3.14159. It goes on changing that number, that is it is non-recurring and non-terminating. But sometimes we'll write pi as, right? Pi as what? 22 by 7, right? That is equal to 3.142. So pi is not exactly equal to 20 by 7. It is approximately, right? For our calculation purpose, we will take pi as what? 22 by 7, because when you divide 22 by 7, we'll get approximately 3.142, which is approximately equal to this pi value. So pi value is what? 3.14159, which goes on continuous. It's an irrational number, but this is the rational. So how can we tell irrational is equal to rational? But it's not equal, it is approximately. For our convenience purpose, for our calculation purpose, we will take this pi as what? 22 by 7, or when you divide 22 by 7, we are getting as 3.142. So what is this pi? So we know circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. Circumference circle is what? 2 pi r. When I divide circumference by 2r, that is what? Pi. So pi is equal to what? C by 2r. Circumference divided by 2 times of radius. Number what I am getting, it is an irrational number, 3.1415952, so on it is continuous. So this is an irrational number. We cannot express in the form of p by q, or as non-recurring and non-terminating number. Where root 25 is irrational? No. Root 25 is what? 5 you can tell. Root 25 is not an irrational, because root 25 can be what? 5. It's a rational number. So this was about rational and irrational. And last, that is a set which includes both rational as well as irrational is said to be a real number. So real number which includes positive integer, negative integer, rational number as well as irrational number. That set is said to be the biggest set, that is said to be the real numbers. That is real number, which includes rational and irrational number. What is the notation for real number? Capital R will take. Notation for irrational is capital R. So if you represent in a diagrammatically, how we can represent all these set in a diagrammatically? So if I represent those set in a diagrammatically, First is what is your natural number, right? So it is your natural number n. Next is your whole number, right? Next is your integer which is negative integer divided by z or I. Next is what your rational numbers in the form of p by q, that is divided by q. Next is irrational numbers which are not in the form of p by q, that is it is q dash, right? So number which includes both rational as well as irrational, that is said to be what? It's your real number. This is what capital R, which includes all rational as well as irrational. So I can tell n is a subset of O, that is n is a subset of whole number. So if I take every natural number is a whole number, but every whole number is not a natural number, and every whole number is an integer, but every integer is not a whole number. A real number, right? But every real number is not a rational number, and every irrational number is a real number, but every real number is not an irrational number, right? So this what about a number system. So apart from this number system, we have one more number, that is the imaginary number. What is that imaginary number, right? So apart from this one, we have one more number, that is imaginary. Imaginary numbers denoted by I, right? So what is this imaginary number? That's what, that is, as the name itself indicates, imaginary. We cannot tell where those numbers are. Just we are assuming that as it is existing somewhere, right? So why we define that imaginary, right? Because for example, if I take an quadratic equation, x square equal to what? 1. So what are the values of x we satisfy this equation? One is x equal to plus 1 or x equal to or minus 1. If I take x equal to 1, 1 square equal to 1, it satisfies. If I take x equal to minus 1, minus 1 square is also equal to what? 1. Or else simply now to solve it one, x equal to plus or minus root 1, that is x equal to plus or minus 1. So the value of x to satisfy this equation are plus 1 or minus 1. Suppose if I take one more quadratic equation, x square equal to minus 1, x square equal to minus 1, where what are the values of x which satisfy this quadratic equation? We know that square of any number is not a negative, right? Square of any number is not a negative, because square of any number is always a positive quantity. So that indicates we have to find some number which satisfy this equation. Those numbers are said to be imaginary. We cannot tell what is the number itself, because square of any number is not a negative. So if we simplify this one, I should write as x equal to plus or minus root of minus 1. So under root negative, any quantity you are writing, those numbers are treated as imaginary. Denoted by it is I is. So I is said to be an imaginary number. So x equal to plus or minus I, where I is what? Root of minus 1. If I take plus root of under root minus 1, it satisfies the equation, or if I take minus root of under root minus it satisfies this equation. For example, if I take root of under root of minus 1 square is equal to minus 1. Square it cancel, minus 1 equal to minus 1 means x equal to plus root of minus 1 satisfies this equation. And one more is there, that is x equal to minus root of minus 1 square is equal to minus 1. Square of that is negative or even number is positive, it is plus only. Square as well, they cancel, minus 1 equal to minus 1. So what are the values of x which satisfies the equation? Plus root of under root minus 1 and minus under root of minus 1. Notation for this I call it as imaginary number. So one more number constant existent, that is imaginary, I can tell, denoted by I. Imaginary number. So combination of real plus imaginary leads to one more number, that is the complex number, that will be studying the first year. So complex number is what? It is a combination of real plus imaginary. And even if I take here under root minus 2, how we represent under root minus 2 in the form of imaginary? Under root minus 2. So this under root minus 2 we can write as what? 2 into minus 1. It is root 2 into root of minus 1. What is root of minus 1? It is a I only. So this I can write as I into root 2. So under root minus 2 is what I into root 2. And similarly, under root minus 3 is I into root 3 up to so on. And under root of minus 4, what is root 4 is what? 2 we can tell. So I into 2 we can tell, which is an imaginary number. So under root any negative number I take, those numbers are taken as what? Imaginary number denoted by I. So last number, that is a complex number. So combination of real plus imaginary. Combination of real plus imaginary leads to one more number, that is complex number denoted by Z. It is complex numbers denoted by Z, we can tell. That is, we can write Z is, that is, we can write Z is a combination of real plus imaginary, where 2 is real and I is what? Imaginary. So combination of real number plus imaginary leads to one more number, right? That is said to be the complex number. That is complex numbers divided by Z, right? So this is what about natural number, whole number, integer, rational, irrational, right? In which set which includes both rational, irrational is real, and one more number imaginary. So real plus imaginary leads to one more number, that is the complex number denoted by Z, we can tell. So Z equal to 2 plus I, where 2 is real and I is what? Imaginary. So in general also we can represent as Z equal to what? A plus IB, or Z equal to X plus IY, right? So where X will be a real part and IY is to be a imaginary part. So this was about the number system. And now question comes, why we are making all this in a separate set, right? So why we are making all this in a separate set? For example, if we are keeping some books in our home, that is a physics book, mathematics book, chemistry books, biology books, and some inspirational book, and there's some novels. If you're keeping one book in a single rack, it is very difficult for us to take the book and study that one, right? Or else in the if we keep in a separate shelf, in the first shelf if I keep only mathematics, the second shelf if I keep only physics, in the third shelf if I keep only inspirational book, in the fourth shelf if I take, the second shelf if I keep only physics, in the third shelf if I keep only inspirational book. This is what minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, that is negative integer, 1, 2, 3, that is positive integer, and 4, 5, that is rational number. So this is a set which includes negative integer. This is the set which includes a positive integer. This is a set which includes a rational number. So the definition of set goes that is a set is a well-defined and distinct collection of objects. It is a well-defined, all are well-defined and all are distinct. I am not writing that is, suppose for example set of natural number less than or equal to 4. I am not writing 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So in this set, the elements are not repeated because it's a well-defined and distinct. All the elements are distinct. Even though if you write, that indicates I should take one only once. It's a well-defined and distinct collection of objects. So now let us discuss it, how many different ways you can represent the set. So a set is a well-defined and distinct collection of object. it is usually denoted by capital letters. So set are usually denoted by capital letters, that is A, B, C, and D. So for example, simple example, if I take capital A is a set of natural numbers less than or equal to 4. Set of natural numbers less than or equal to 4 is what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Set of natural number less than or equal to 4. These are the numbers less than or equal to 4. And what is present in A? How we can tell that this element 1 is present in A? We use a symbol. We use a symbol that is belongs to. We use symbol that is belongs to. So this symbol indicates to tell whether that element is present in that set A or not. So here the element 1 is present in A, means I can tell the element 1 belongs to capital A. So 1 is an element or an object which belongs to set capital A, and 2 is an element which belongs to set capital A. 3 is an element which belongs to set capital A. 4 is an element which belongs to set capital A. But here only 4 elements are there. If I write 5 belongs to A, is wrong, because the element 5 is not present in A. This symbol indicates belongs to, right? So the 5 element does not belongs to A, then it becomes correct, right? Belongs to A, then it becomes correct, right? Then it is a correct. So this symbol we use for notation for the belongs to, whether that element belongs to present A, whether the element is belongs to capital A or not. And even if I write a number 8, whether 8 belongs to set A? No, 8 does not belong to set capital A. So this was an this definition, what is set and how we can how the notation for the set are there, and what are the elements in set are called, and the element, the symbol which indicates, that is how we can tell that element belongs to set A. So just this much is enough in today's class. So tomorrow's class again we'll discuss how we can represent the set and some more examples, right? So thank you students, thank you.